I had a bad situation.
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that we are now live.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Harbour East Marine Drive Community Council. The date is June 5th, 2023, and we have quorum, Mr. Clerk. We do. All righty. So I just want to acknowledge that Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. Move now to the approval of the minutes for February 6th. Moved and seconded by Councillor Purdy. Any debate on those? Any questions? No. Call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. The third, approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. Are there any additions or deletions, Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. There are no additions or deletions received from the clerk's office today.
Okay. Are there any from our members? No. So would someone like to move to approve the order of business? Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Business arising out of the minutes, there is none, and I will now call for the declaration of conflict of interest. Members? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to, there are no motions of reconsideration, no motions of rescission, consideration of deferred business, none, and there is no notice of table matters, no public hearings. Correspondence, Mr. Clerk. Is there anything there we should be aware of?
Thank you, Chair. There is no correspondence which has had to been circulated for this meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any petitions tonight? None. Any from the clerk?
None from the clerk's office.
Okay, thank you, folks. Public participation. We now move into the general public participation section of this meeting. Speakers can participate for 5 minutes. Please keep your comments respectful, on topic, and directed to the chair. The clerk will hold up a yellow sign when you have 30 seconds remaining, and when your time is complete, the clerk will hold up a red sign. Are there any names on the list?
Let's go check.
I see a gentleman is getting himself ready. Just be reminder to say your name and your location of residence. There are none on the list, but I see Bill, our friendly, is it resident? That's it. That's what I was trying to get to. I don't know. Somebody else might have called you something else, Bill. All right. The floor is yours. Oh, Colin. I've been calling you Bill. Colin. Is it? I don't think it's mic on. Can you turn your mic on there?
Gosh.
That's better.
You know the habit of you take your grandfather's name.
Okay.
Well, you don't take it, you're given it.
Yeah.
So we got e-scooters now. Okay. Not permitted in the Dartmouth Common. That's a few days ago. Just so if you come from Dahlia Street and you come through just where you pass the pathway to the bandstand, just past there. That's not the only person that rides one of these in there. We have all sorts of scooters, not just there's the small ones, and then there's anyway up to that. Not allowed under the bylaw. If you want, I can read you the bylaw. But so in section 66 of the city charter, I've mentioned this at previous meetings. It has a section devoted to the Dartmouth Common, and it sets out the activities that are allowed there and the objectives. And section 66(6)(b), 6C, pedestrian priority, safe and comfortable circulation. It's not safe. I've said, I don't know how many times I've been here to say this, or I've spoken to my councillor, or I've spoken to staff about it, or I've sent emails. When I send an email, that's 5 weeks ago and it hasn't been answered. pointing out the danger to people. And so with the bird coming in with e-scooters, I was worried that e-scooters were going to be in there. Well, apparently, from the documents on the city website about e-scooters, it tells you where they are not permitted, where they are permitted. The Dartmouth Common isn't included. I haven't seen a bird e-scooter, but I see e-scooters every day. It's got to the point that, and then on top of that, we have the cyclists. Now, there's different kinds of cyclists. There's the gentle ones and the wannabe Lance Armstrong types. You know, they're dressed like they're in the Tour de France to go at that speed. You'd be amazed to see the speed that some of them go at. It is only a matter of time before there is an accident. Now, I've got nowhere with Councillor Austin. I've got nowhere with the Parks Department. I haven't even bothered trying to talk to the mayor. I've got nowhere with anybody. And so the danger that you as members of council and members are facing is that there will be an accident one day. It could be serious, but with any kind of accident then there's going to be question raised as to, like, why didn't the city do something about this? You know, I got my camera with me. I got other photos that you're seeing people riding through there. They got tires that are about 4 inches wide, and they're on heavy bikes. And then plus you've got the weight of the cyclist. You can't now on the HMM website where it recently went up when Bird came to town and the ceremony for starting it. So the city says on the website, it says where, I haven't brought the page with me, it says e-scooters are not permitted on multi-use pathways and parks unless they are signed as permitted. Well, they're not signed as permitted in the Dartmouth Common, right? And they also have a page that lists where they are permitted. And again, the Dartmouth Common isn't mentioned. I don't think I need to belabor the point. It's much more risky now than it was. Plus, there isn't a pathway that I can walk on that doesn't have a cyclist on it. So I generally nicely say, except I wasn't so nice yesterday, I generally nicely say, this is not a pathway. Oh, yes, it is. And I said, go and look at the map on the gates. It's not a pathway. But they still use them. Every pathway now has a cyclist on. Even one when I was clearing the leaves, the one that when you get through the graveyard and you drop down to the gateway, to the little gateway, I was sweeping the leaves off. There was a whole pile of leaves on the pathway. So I thought I'll clear them all off there. And as I'm
30
clearing them all
seconds
off,
has concluded.
here comes a cyclist.
Thank you, Colin. We'll now see if any members have any questions. Councillor Hensby.
Thank you much, Madam Chair. Just let you know, Colin, I think with the ones that we have authorized to use, like Bird Canada, I believe they have the technology to block out areas. That was one of the demonstrations I think we looked at different cities. So they can block out certain areas. So if their scooter was to enter in a zone that's not permitted, the apparatus would stop functioning. They wouldn't be able to go. But the only problem though is that with privately owned vehicles, they don't have these governors on them. That's probably what the problem is that we need to find a way to police those or put up bollards that will prevent them from entering. But that's a problem of doing that closes off for baby carriages and stuff. So
I haven't seen a Bird scooter in the park. On the day of the announcement, there was 3 bicycles and a couple of scooters at the main entrance at Wiseman and Tuckett. I tried to lift a bicycle up and I couldn't even get it off one wheel off the ground. But I've never seen one of those yet. But there are a lot more people now than a year ago on scooters. I wish I could have the radar gun on them. The speed is phenomenal. And we not only have older people, but there's mothers with young children walking through there, the school kids, but I wish I had a series of videos, because if the city isn't going to do anything, well, there's not much I can do. But it is a serious threat.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you,
for your
Colin. I just wanted to make sure that we stay on topic. Are there any other questions? With the indulgence of the counselors, may I ask a question? Yes, thank you. So Colin, it's abundantly clear that you have, based on what you said, you've exercised all or contacted as many people as you can within our system. At any point, did you actually specifically tell anyone exactly what you would like us to do? And if you haven't, do you have an answer for that tonight? It's one thing to sort of purport and share your opinion. And if you're not getting where you want to go, maybe it's because we don't have a clear understanding of what exactly it is you're requesting us to do. Yes, please.
It should be made clearer that the city needs to come. Well, I've already had the parks people through there a couple of years ago, and we talked about other things in the park. Cyclists need to understand and need to act in the manner that's expected of them according to legislation. The signs in the park need to be changed, and as I understand from watching the Active Transportation Committee last meeting, the staff person pointed out they were going to be to spend most of the time talking about the scooters and Bird, and the lady mentioned that there was going to be new signage, not just for the park, but for multi-use path through there. There was going to be new signage. She didn't say what the new signage would comprise, right? And so I sent her an email a few days later and pointed out the section that I read this evening, that you need, and I pointed out to her, you need to emphasize that pedestrians have priority over everybody else. Now, when I'm in the park, I give priority to somebody who's less able than myself, or a person that's confined to a scooter, a disability scooter, right? I give that. And so my point to her was, when your new signs go up, you need to emphasize and educate, particularly cyclists, that pedestrians have priority. The signs that are up there now, say yield to pedestrians. And I'm like, no, that's not the words. It's who has priority. Anybody walking through the Dartmouth Common, they are number one on the list of who can use the trail, and everybody else follows behind. And the need that the bicycle people need to be educated to know that it's not a speed track that goes on to where you want to go to get home. It's originally a place where people used to just go and walk and enjoy the place. And if it gets to the point where you're constantly on the lookout, or if you're like me, sometimes your hearing aid runs out.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you being clearer about
if I could just get the parks
what you think
people.
could help. Okay,
I've been polite for long enough.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any other speakers this evening anyone who would like to speak? Do I have to do that 3 times? Are there any other speakers? And last call for any other speakers this evening. All right, thank you very much. All right, information items brought forward, there are none. We have staff reports, and in relation to 14.1.1, the planning application 2024 01322, a substantive amendment to the development agreement for Wise Road, Dartmouth. So the public hearing, I guess, is not set. We need to, I think we're going to hear from staff, are we?
First reading.
No, first reading, thank you. I'm waiting all the little extra notes that you give me, and then I got myself all,
If I may, Ms. Chair.
yes. Councillor Austin.
Thank you. I move that Harbour East Marine Drive Community Council give notice of motion to consider the proposed amending development agreement as set on attachment A of the staff report dated May 1st, 2025, to allow for 2 additional stories to an approved 20-story mixed-use building at 1112, 1114 Wise Road in Dartmouth, and schedule a public hearing.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Mancini.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Thank you, Councillor Mancini. I did have just one question on this. The owner did contact me today. He's been waiting with anticipation on this for quite some time. I gather we don't have a July meeting scheduled, and that the earliest this would happen would be August. Why are we not doing a July meeting?
The clerk's office made a decision to avoid scheduling any meetings as regular meetings in July, just in order to clear space for counselors and staff for need to maintain vacation schedules and to just create some flexibility that way, as well as I think some tech refresh things. But having said that, we can always, at the discretion of council or the other bodies, schedule special meetings in July. It's up to the members and the applicants if they would like to potentially proceed that way. So we can have those discussions after the meeting, or right now as well, if there's a desire to do so.
Okay. Certainly the applicant desires to get his case heard and potentially, if it's approved, get on with his project. So I kind of hate to add a month to it. And, and I think, like, I've always been leery of doing public hearings in August because, we might be thinking of July, but the slowest month out there in the wider world is August. Personally, I think it would make more sense to do our public hearings in July and not have an August meeting of Harbour East rather than, that's my 2 cents. So open to committee and the chair. I don't think we need a motion or anything tonight, Ms. Chair, but that would be my preference for you folks to take away as you work your way through agenda review.
Thank you, Councillor Austin. Is there anything further? No. Shall I call the question? All in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Now, 14.1.2, planning application 2024-01794, amendment to the Eastern Shore West land use bylaw to permit utility and communications buildings or structures on lots a minimum of 10 acres in R6 rural residential zones. What's the will of the council? Councillor
Madam Chair,
Hensby.
I'll put the motion forward to the Harbour East Marine Drive Community Council give first reading to consider approval of the proposed amendments to the land use bylaw for Eastern Shore West, as set out in attachment A of the staff report dated May 22nd, 2025, and add utility and communication buildings or structures on lots which are of a minimum of 10 acres in the rural residential R6 zone and schedule public hearing.
Seconded by Councillor Purdy. Thank you. Is there anything you would like to offer, Councillor Hensby?
I would also know that my constituency community down there would like to have this meeting as early as possible. So I know there's interest in this, so a July meeting might be possible, would be preferred.
Thank you. Would anyone like to entertain a change here tonight? I'm open to it as the chair.
Well, let's pass this first, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'm just giving you some feedback. If we're interested in discussing it tonight, it might be a solution tonight for those proponents. So, okay, any further comments on this one? Call the question. All in favor? Those opposed, nay. The motion is carried. And there are no motions, no in-camera items, and no added items. Are there any notices of motion? No. The next Date of the next meeting. So if you're interested in determining it tonight, I think I'm just going to look at my schedule. I would prefer, I'm sort of torn between July and August because July 6th is my birthday and I wanted to go away. And August 7th is the middle of our Eastern Passage 50th anniversary carnival. It would be July 3rd? Okay, that could work. Just let me sign in.
We'll confirm with staff afterwards, just in terms of, but I
Yeah.
suspect it will be. And it would be convenient as well where if we have two, to try and bring those two to the.
Yes. Yeah, I'm clear for that day. Alrighty. So, what I'm hearing, you are? I am? What's happening in Abenaki? Yeah. Okay. All right. So is there a consensus that we should be looking at July instead of August? Members? Yes? Okay. So we'll give direction to the clerks to go and check with staff, make sure we're meeting all the required timelines and speak to the proponents. All right. Good. Thank you. Motion for. Good plan. Who did?
I heard you.
I need an adjournment. So moved.
We should go on the road